Hey everybody, welcome to a new edition of Thursday Q&A. I've got a couple of great questions to get through with you. So without further ado, let's get into the first one. Now this question comes from somebody who I trained a while ago. And he asks, I've been told when you do an exercise never to completely lock out. Now what we mean by that is, for instance, you're doing a push-up. Um, Locking out means that you're completely straightened out your joint. He says I've been told not to do that because you want to keep the tension on the muscle. That is a very common prescription. It comes from the bodybuilding world, and the idea is that if you keep a little bit of bend in that muscle, in that joint, you keep kind of holding the weight in your muscles, so you keep working for it. Therefore, you keep the muscle under tension. And while this is true, it is also very possible to keep the muscle under tension while you lock out. For instance, if we talk about the elbow lockout, so we're doing a press and we say, okay, we're not going to lock the arm out completely because we want to keep that tricep under tension. But with a locked out arm, you can also keep your triceps under tension. Now, in some movements, it doesn't matter all that much. In other movements, it's actually a pretty big deal. One that mainly comes to mind for me is an overhead press. I've been very lucky that I've been doing Olympic lifting where you have to lock the arm out overhead. But if you're used to just moving through here and you lose that ability to lock out overhead, it's going to take a long time to get it back. So, no, you can absolutely lock out your joints and keep tension on the muscle. That's absolutely possible, and most cases I would say definitely do go for the full range of motion. The one thing we're trying not to do, for instance, in the top of a squat, is lock the knees out completely and relax. You are trying to stay tight and keep the muscles working. So I hope that helps. The answer is, as usual, it depends. Next question is a goodie. This comes from someone who I've been training, and they ask, Rex, my goal is to lose weight. Why do you make me do all this strength stuff? Now, this is a fantastic question. The going thought for many people is doing cardio is going to burn calories, right? If we go for a half-hour run, we burn this many calories, and if we do that longer and longer and more, maybe go for that half-hour run 6 days a week, 7 days a week, make it an hour run, make it 2 hours running, we're going to burn more and more calories. And I'm sorry to disappoint you, but that just is not true. If you want to read some more about this, there's a great study that's been done in the Hatsu tribe in Tanzania, and this tribe is still old school hunter gatherers. They walk and run for hours and hours a day. If they hunt something down, their strategy is to actually run this run the animal down. So sometimes it's hours and hours and hours of running. So they actually went there and they decided to see how many calories these guys are burning, because it must be astronomical. Turns out it's not. And it makes perfect sense if you think about it. If you are a hunter-gatherer and you are running down animals, would it really be a good idea to start burning like 7,000 calories just to hunt down this animal? Absolutely not. The thing is, you become efficient when you do conditioning like that, when you do longer cardio. And that efficiency means that you're just starting to burn less and less and less calories. So if I am completely untrained and I go for a 10-minute walk, that's gonna burn a fair bit of calories for me. But if you check in with me 5 years later, when I'm pretty efficient at what I do, that 10-minute walk is not going to burn the same amount of calories. Even if I'm walking for 2 hours, it's going to burn maybe even less than what I started with in the 10 minutes because it becomes more efficient. Your body's very good at this. So doing more and more when it comes to training for fat loss is not the way to go. Now I want to make one thing extremely clear. I am for movement. I think for your health, one of the best things you can do is go for a walk. Like go for a 20-30 minute walk, go for an hour. Even if it's 10 minutes, go for a walk, keep your body moving, because I do believe that being sedentary, sitting around all day and not moving is absolutely terrible for your health. But from a purely, I want to lose fat mass point of view, adding more and more cardio is not the way to go. What we're trying to do is create more muscle mass. Like we're trying to get your muscles to burn more calories so you keep burning those calories. And we're trying to do inefficient training, so stuff that your body is not good at yet, because that burns a lot more calories. I'll give you an example. If I would do an aerobic step class right now, not that I'm allowed to do one, but if I were, I would burn a ton of calories, because for every one step the lady in the corner makes who's been doing this for 5 years, I have to take 15 because I don't know where I'm going. So I'm constantly reacting, constantly doing more work. Check in with me in another year, and that efficiency has gone up. So my calorie burn has gone way down. I get better and better at it. Our idea is to keep introducing exercises we're not adapted to. So exercises that's going to make your body work hard, and exercises that's going to keep your muscle mass on point at the very least. Ideally, we create more muscle mass because more muscle mass burns more fat. I really hope that makes sense. If you have any more questions about this, please let me know. And then last question for today. Rex, I'm not trying to be a powerlifter. Why should I squat, deadlift, and bench press? Now, I have no problem with you not bench pressing, not deadlifting with a heavy bar, and not squatting with the bar on your back. But deadlifting, squatting, and pushing movements, as well as pulling movements, are very basic human movements that you have to be able to keep doing. Like I said, I have no problem with you not wanting to put a heavy bar on your back, squatting, to powerlifting depth and driving back up. You don't have to if you don't want to. That's fine. We can do it with a kettlebell. We can do single leg varieties. But being able to sit in a low squat position is a very basic human movement that you should really maintain as long as possible. Like when we get older in life and we get a little bit stiffer, it's not necessarily because that's just what happens. It's because you don't use your range of motion anymore. So why should you be able to keep doing that? And then you get to the point where it's hard to pick stuff up from the ground. It's hard to get into those positions when you do have to pick something up. So maintaining your range of motion is super important. And also those are the exercises that kind of keep that muscle mass going, keep those power units in your body going, the big muscle groups. So you don't have to deadlift heavy. You don't have to squat heavy. You don't have to bench press at all, as far as I'm concerned. I think there's much better pushing movements out there. But you have to keep doing these basic muscle, the big human movements that we should be able to do no matter what age we get to. Now guys, I hope that all makes sense. Great questions. Thanks a lot. Keep them coming. Look forward to doing this again next week, and I'll talk to you soon.